Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming to you live to talk about episode 3 of the anime series Princess Principal. And this was a fantastic, stellar episode. Loved it. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that we've gone back in time from the first episode. We're still seeing the formation of this group of spies working together, Anj and Dorothy working with Princess and Beatrice. And Beatrice, very much like from right out of the gate, she's annoying as all hell. The way they have her screeching left, right, and center. No, you girls can't do this. You're not gonna do this to the princess and everything like that. You have no respect for her and all this stuff. And it's driving in to my ever loving skull. Her screeching, her exclaiming, and everything like that. Until then, her voice starts to get all metallic. And it was like Shades of the Cybermen from Doctor Who. Like, what is going on here now all of a sudden? And then you hear her tragic backstory, and it blew my mind. I felt so sympathetic for her. It was like a complete, coin flip of being like, kill her, to like, oh my god, poor darling. I feel so bad for her. But of course she keeps screeching the whole way through the episode. They have to sneak on board this aircraft to get some stolen monetary plates that are going to be meant to create forgeries of money and tip the balance of monetary power and everything from the Duke of Normandy. His people are trying to get their hands on it. And it was interesting finally coming to understand, because I hadn't quite figured it out in my mind, that Anj and Dorothy are representative of the Commonwealth side, whereas the princess is still attached to the kingdom side, but she's trying to level the playing field. And I thought it was really interesting at the start of the episode. Are we picking up with that final scene where we left off episode 2 that called it into question, what is their relationship? And even Beatrice is asking Anj pointedly in this episode. We don't get any answers. But obviously they were part of the same family. I don't know whether one of them or the other was a servant, or their cousins, or their sisters. Imagine they're twin cousins. I mean, holler back to the Patty Duke show. They're cousins, identical cousins, just the same. Like, what? That would be so weird. But I thought it was hilarious that Anj is trying to shut Beatrice down at every turn. And this is the episode where Beatrice finds her own and starts to appreciate what exactly Anj is bringing to the table. She knows that Anj actually harbors secret feelings of care and concern for Princess. Otherwise, she wouldn't have tried to sacrifice herself in the end when it looked like all was going to be for naught unless Beatrice got out there with the last parachute. Anj was willing to die in that moment. She didn't want to, however, sacrifice the princess or bring suspicion down upon her. So she wanted Beatrice to get the hell out of there. And by the end of the episode, they have both aligned. And it's just so freaking awesome sauce that. Beatrice, it's kind of like, she was learning on the job how to be a spy, how to utilize that mechanized thing, that vocoder in her neck that her father had experimented on her with and put inside her body and everything. And it just blew my mind that. But being able to recall back to the one guy who was trying to get the plates for the Duke of Normandy, and using his voice to pass off, hey, everything's a-okay, to like the soldier who was gonna propose to Jennifer, whoever she is, and they had heard that on the radio earlier in the episode. Anj was able to pierce through all of that cacophony of noise of all these different channels on this switchboard. And so, I mean, it was spectacular. And then they take the flying leap off the air vehicle. The only thing that I was left sort of like, why didn't we get a follow-up on, was whatever happened to Dorothy. She went to the toilet, and then I guess she went home. I don't know. I wish we had gotten some confirmation on whether she had been up to anything or she just was able to sneak off, Maybe she was just there to help get the shoe in the door, and that was about it. As well as Princess, really. I guess she attended that celebratory thing she was supposed to take part in, and then I guess she went back home. Presumably she and Dorothy went home together, I guess. We aren't exactly told. But cutting back to the relationship between Anj and the princess, it's hard to tell what's going on between them, because at the end of the last episode, you had that note. It was revealed Anj had tipped the hat of what they were up to Princess, and it's as though the princess herself, her real name is Charlotte, but she refers to Anj as Charlotte. And I had put forth in the comments in debating it back and forth what that could all mean. That maybe it was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like, it had been signed Charlotte, but that would be a tip of the hat to Princess that, okay, Ange is this person I once knew. We were split apart 10 years ago, and this is her way of tipping the hat, but then also donning her persona, putting on the wig and pretending to be Princess for a little while. This was Princess's, in the end, at the end of the episode, her sort of playfully saying, like, oh, you make a good me, that kind of thing. Instead of, the alternative, which is like the only real other possibility is that Ange is the legit princess and they were switched, and she doesn't want to take on that persona. She doesn't want that responsibility. She's very much fine and well with the traditional princess, the actual legit princess, the character we call princess, taking on that position. I am hoping for some clarification at some point in the future as to how that all works out, how that shapes up. But otherwise, this was a fantastic episode. I love this series. I love the OP. I love the vibe. It was sort of shades of Metal Gear Solid skulking around the ship, the airship, as it were, the air vehicle, and, getting flushed down that water pipe and everything. And we see Ange save Beatrice. And they really found a commonality, a common ground in having to work, apply to this job of spying and stealing back these plates and everything like that. And it just made it gangbusters. I was thrilled with it. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 3 of Princess Principal, if you've seen it as well, if you enjoyed it as much as I did. And love it or hate it, anything goes, but I'd be surprised if you've been watching this show if you didn't love it as much as I did. And otherwise, it'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.